Oh. Oh, I guess I'm gonna see you guys shouldn't be doing that.
I know. I know, right? But I'll take that. I'll take that.
I'm going to call the regular scheduled meeting of the City Council to order at 7:05 p.m. Will the City Secretary please give roll?
Councilmember Fennell is present. Councilmember Renifoff is present. Mayor Pro Tem Hogue is present. Councilmember Young is present. Councilmember Bashan is present.
All right. With that, we're going to move to the invocation and the pledge, and we have Scott Marsh with Trinity Bible Church.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Father, I thank you for being a good God. I thank you for the place in which we get to live and the freedoms which we have. I thank you for government that is set up by you and run by you, by men and women of integrity and honor. I pray for citizens that would do well under the government. And Father, I pray that they would be prosperous because of you. And we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
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 Thank you, sir. We have a proclamation for today, and I will read it. So, proclamation recognizing September 11, 2018 as Patriots Day. Whereas Americans will always remember the terrible events of September 11, 2001, we will always honor the many innocent lives that were lost and never forget the heroism of passengers, first responders, and others on that day. And whereas we continue to pray for the families left behind who continue to inspire us through their steadfast character, courage, and determination. In the face of these unspeakable attacks, we are reminded that the great strength of America is found in the hearts and souls of our citizens. And whereas we are inspired by the heroism of our nation's public service personnel, military, service members, first responders, and countless volunteers, and whereas we wish to pay tribute to the memory of those taken from us in the terrorist attacks in New York, Pennsylvania, and at the Pentagon. And now, therefore, I, Norman Hogue, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Willow Park, along with the Willow Park City Council, hereby recognize September 11, 2018 as Patriots Day and urge our citizens to recognize the heroism of firefighters, rescue and law enforcement personnel, military service members, and the many volunteers who responded to these tragic events with courage, selfless compassion, determination, and skill, and to remember the victims and innocent lives lost as a result of the tragic events on September 11, 2001. In witness, therefore, I have set my hand and caused the seal of Willow Park, Texas to be affixed on this, the 11th day of September 2018. With that, we will move to the public comments. Are there any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. So do we have a motion to approve the city council minutes for August 14th, 21st, and September 4th, 2018?
I'll make a motion to approve the council minutes of the 14th, 21st of August to the 4th of September.
We have a second?
Second.
Please poll the commission. All those in favor? And it passes. So regular agenda items. Number 1, discussion and action take action on site plan for a professional office building on lot 1R, block 5R, El Chico Edition, located at 4971 East I-20 Service Road. Ms. Betty Chu.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
This is a site plan for a 3,100 square foot office building. It will be the final building constructed on this site. It is located in the on the northeast corner of the lot, adjacent to Pitchfork Trail. The parking, water, sewer, landscaping, and all is in place. The only thing that will be required is a water tap and a sewer tap to service this new building. This site development plan meets the requirements of the city's ordinance for a site development plan, and both staff and Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve a site plan for Lot 1R, Block 5R, El Chico Edition, located at 4971 East I-20 Service Road.
Second.
All those in favor? It passes. The second item, to consider and take action on a site plan for a bank and professional office building on Lot 3R, Block C, Crown Point Edition, located at 100 Crown Point Boulevard. Betty?
Yes, this will be a bank and professional office building to be located in the shops at Willow Park. It will be adjacent to Crown Point Boulevard and the access road. This is a 5,900 square foot building. 3,700 square feet will be for a bank, and an additional 2,100 square feet will be office area. This is a 1.73 acre lot. The water, sewer, infrastructure, as well as the drives, are in to this site. This was anticipated with the approval of the plat for the shops development. We do have one change that comes forth, and there will be additional landscaping area. In other words, we're going to add, I think, 3 trees and some additional landscaping. We're removing 15 parking spaces. We're going from 65 to 50. The parking requirement is just 30, so we still exceed the parking requirement. The building facade will be very similar to the shops themselves. As a part of this development, this does come forth with a favorable recommendation from staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Do we know what bank it is?
I don't.
Just curious.
When we get plans, we'll tell you.
We get plans, okay. All right.
Now, Betty, is this the final site plan?
Yes, sir.
Minus
Like I
the
said-
trees that are coming in.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have a motion on the item?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan with the addition an office building on Lot 3R, Block C, Crown Point Edition, located at 100 Crown Point Boulevard.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? It passes. Third item, to consider and take action on a site plan addendum for a youth worship addition to Christ Chapel Bible Church West, which is located at 3910 East I-20 Service Road. Betty?
Thank you. Christ Chapel West does propose to add an approximately almost 10,000 square foot addition to their existing church at 3910 East I-20 Service Road. This will provide for a 379-seat youth worship center, and it is located on the north side of the church campus. It's commonly known as the Hive. And they will be enclosing this along with a small addition, which you can see in your exhibit, and also they have a larger view here of the site. The area is shown in orange, and then it's also highlighted and enlarged at the bottom. The parking and landscaping with this is already in place, as well as the water and sewer. Of course, the building will need to be sprinkled to meet fire protection guidelines. This also comes forth as a favorable recommendation from staff and also from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then obviously we have representatives from the church here if you have any questions.
Okay.
What's the height of the building?
Oh, that's y'all's question.
Yeah. If y'all have any questions.
The roof, the angled roof that's already there, which you can
Right.
see, it won't be any higher than that. And I forgot what that height is.
My name is Scott Marksoff, 365 Squaw Creek Road here in Willow Park. I'm the architect, and Rick Nees is with the church. But what we're asking to do, this is the existing high, what they call high currently. The existing roof is there. All we're trying to do is add on, enclose and add on a portion of that existing building, the high, and to add about 125 more seats. What we found is that we just needed the air, it was all an open venue for worship, and we just found we needed to air condition it. So we're going to close it, and while we're doing that, we're going to expand it a little bit. So actually from the freeway, we will not see much difference at all. Mainly it will be impacting the recreation area as far as visual. But the height is very low. It's only a one-story addition. So pretty minimal impact architecturally.
Any concerns, chiefs?
Here's something random. I'm doing door-to-door campaigning. I went to your house.
Yes, I heard.
And something was really cool. I loved all the homes that I got to see doing that. And I was so excited that your wife was home. Because I got to see
She told me he came by.
it was the coolest house.
My daughter
You're very talented.
my daughter attends there Wednesday nights, so just on a personal note, if this
You have to
doesn't
abstain.
Yeah, no, well,
He doesn't get a vote. He doesn't get a
if you
vote.
think my wife has a temper, wait till my 14-year-old daughter gets a hold of him.
What? So you're saying she needs prayer? That's what I'm hearing.
Do we have any other comments,
Air conditioning.
questions from council? All right. Do we have a motion?
I gotta find the top of the back, so you got the right one. Make a motion to approve agenda item 3, the site plan for, to enclose the youth ministry at Christ Chapel Bible Church as read.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, it passes. Our fourth item on the agenda, to consider and take action on a final plat of Lot 3, 4, 5, Block 1, Squaw Creek West Edition, City of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas. Betty?
Thank you. This is a replat or a reconfiguration of these 3 R1 single-family residential lots to facilitate development and redevelopment of these lots. They are single-family residential lots. They all do meet and exceed the size requirement for the lot. They also meet the requirements for the frontage and lot depth and width. You have in your packet the replat. We have the owner of the property here. If you have any questions, or I would be happy to answer those at the staff report. This also comes forth as a favorable recommendation from staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission, as this replat meets the requirements of the ordinance for a replat.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
So currently, there's no houses on either lot right now, right?
None of the 3 lots have structure on them.
And this is R1.
Yes, sir.
Do I have a motion on the item?
I'll move that we approve the final plat of Lot 3, 4, and 5, Block 1, Squaw Creek West Edition.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Passes. Next item on the agenda.
Next item.
Let me read it first.
Sure. Go get the plat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be short. Item number 5, to consider a concept plan for Willow Park Baptist Church located on a 35.816 acre tract of land, the Wesley Franklin Survey Abstract number 468, City of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas. Betty?
I don't think I'm ready yet. This is a concept plan only. There is no action required of the commission. Several years ago, Willow Park Baptist Church purchased approximately 50 acres of land and are now to the point that they would like to develop this land. We recently, if you remember in May, annexed the property into the city. One of the things we want to talk about is the thoroughfares in the area. As you are aware, Crown Point Boulevard ends just north of Willow Park Rehab. Crown Point Boulevard is to be extended up to Crown Road. Also, as a part of the plat, J.D. Tolles Road, if you remember, we had, as part of the annexation, the properties to the south have dedicated J.D. Tolles Drive, which will go from Crown Point Boulevard to Crown Lane, and that will be a 60-foot collector street. Also, there are proposed improvements to Crown Lane going south of J.D. Tolles Road to the I-20 access road, and that will improve Crown Lane to a 70-foot wide collector street, and also it will straighten up that intersection at the I-20 access road. If you remember, it kind of sets in there funny, and it'll be a full intersection with a turn. I will let Mr. Chuck Stark, representing the owners, talk about the buildings that are proposed as phase one of the development, which will be the church assembly area and also a multi-purpose building. Obviously, the entire property will have both water and sewer. If you can see, and it's a little easier to see right here, at some point with Crown Point Boulevard going up, the church will have property on both sides. Also, there will be a small residual piece of property here on the west side of the proposed extension of Crown Point Boulevard that would be the city's. So we are looking to swap equal properties. So the city would end up swapping this with the church, and the church would give us an equal, I think it's 0.765 acres of land to kind of square that up. And for the church and the city both not to have the disjointed pieces of property. And we will talk about that in a little bit with Mr. Stark. 35 acres approximately will be on the west side of Crown Point Boulevard, with the remaining to be developed in the future on the east side. The staff report talked about most of this. Do you have any questions before I turn it over to Mr. Stark?
I guess he'd be going to ask about timeline or...
Yes, I'm sure he would.
All right.
Because I think they're wanting to proceed pretty quickly. Okay.
Mr. Stark?
Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, members of the council, my name is Chuck Stark with Mayor Stark Engineers. The reason I asked Betty to put this on your agenda as just a presentation, not an action item, is because with maybe the exception of Mr. Runnebaugh, I don't think any of the present council or the current P&Z was around when we initiated all this work back in 2015. And it's now coming to fruition. I can tell you that at the meeting with the Church Finance Committee this past Friday, they gave myself and the entire design team, architects, MEP, structural, the go-ahead to proceed forward post-haste with development of this campus as a single phase. Originally, we thought that we would do the multi-purpose building first and then come in after that with the sanctuary. That is not the current thought pattern. They want to proceed forward immediately. The time frame that has been lined out, to your question as well, is a building permit by February 1. Actually start construction on the roadways immediately, as soon as we can. These will be tilt wall buildings. We anticipate about a 12 to 14-month construction period. The goal is Easter of 2012 to be open for services. Okay, that's a pretty aggressive schedule, but that is what we're pursuing. Now,
2020.
what did I say?
You said 2012.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2012.
You got a DeLorean you're going to build?
A lot of residents would love that.
The building permit in February 2019. Okay, thank you for that. As a result, we're going to be coming to both staff and P&Z and council with several items in the very near future. So I wanted to use this opportunity to kind of tell you about some of the things coming up, and you can ask me questions. And I want everybody to be familiar with what is being proposed, and get it all out on the table up front. Okay, our next order of business would be to submit a final plat and a formal site plan for this 35 acres. I anticipate doing that before the end of September, so we can be on the October P&Z agenda and the November council agenda for the final plat for both of those items. So our office is busily working on those right now. As I said, the road plans, the Crown Point Boulevard plans have been sitting on the shelf since late 2015, waiting for this day. And they're very anxious, these plans. And the plans for JD Tolls and for Crown Lane are currently under final review. Okay? So as I said, we want to proceed forward with those immediately. What is being built is a worship center with a 1,500-seat auditorium. It is proposed as tilt wall construction. There will be a mezzanine level on what is not the actual sanctuary that will have education space, both on the upper floor and the lower floor. The multi-purpose gymnasium is quite a large structure. It's going to house 4 regulation basketball courts, which would also be 6 regulation volleyball courts. The church's goal is to host, tournament type play there. It would also be probably the largest assembly space in the city of Willow Park, and banquets and community events such as that. They have their annual Hunter Extravaganza each year. That they can't get everyone in that wants to exhibit there. So this would give them a venue for that. You would also realize that they're totally strapped for parking at their current location. And this would alleviate that. Some 850 parking spaces proposed total with this. That would service both the gymnasium and the worship center. And you can see there's a lot left on this site that's not proposed for development. This is the heavily treed area that you see if you drive down Crown Lane to Crown Road. And the current plan is to leave that is in its natural state. The church also owns 15 to 20 acres across the street. Most of it's in the floodplain. They have that designated as future athletic fields for outside athletics, soccer, flag football, that type of thing. Again, they hope to develop as kind of a community amenity. I'm not sure what your leagues are here, but it's like where I live, they're always looking for fields to play and practice on. So, anyway, in a nutshell, that's it. I'd be happy to answer general questions about this, and I have a couple other asks from you. Any questions?
So Crown Point Boulevard, you're going to start construction on that to complete it immediately?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
Shortly after I came on council, a couple of the church people from Willow Park Baptist Church pulled me aside and they handed me pictures of your campus. And I know you've got literature on that. It might be beneficial for the council to see, because I've seen the campus plan.
The church master plan
Yeah.
is prepared by the architectural
Yes,
group.
yes. And that was very advantageous.
It's actually on their website.
Yeah.
But I can certainly get you hard copies if you would.
Or would you kick it out to the council? I was just making a suggestion to you. Are you still going to do the amphitheater? I think there was an amphitheater.
Yeah, there's an amphitheater.
Also.
Now that it would not be in the initial construction.
Yeah, but that's.
Yeah, but yes, very much so. This is a baptismal in this area. Now the amphitheater don't read more into that than what it is, okay? It's not like bleachers and tiered seating, it's a grass bowl with a small stage. And you can see how it's situated with the gym. This is the service entrance on the gym. That will have 1 or 2 roll-up doors. It's the power supply for the amphitheater too.
Yeah.
So it's
I've seen the plans, they're really
It's
beautiful.
an informal assembly outside of the assembly space. No, it's not going to be the Roman Coliseum.
Can't do.
You keep reiterating that.
Staff Caesar.
When we go out there and see these grassy slopes like last time, that's
That's great.
that's something to come on. Anything else? Well, I have a couple of asks for you. There are 2. As I said, we're going to be turning in a plat at the end of this month. To get this moving, there's some things that we need from the city of Willow Park. First of all, talking about this Crown Point Boulevard construction. Back in end of 2015, the council at that point, we presented this alignment to it. They approved it, and Betty helped me find that in the minutes. The documents were never signed up. So like I said, we want to build that road, but we don't have any right-of-way to do it right now. Okay. This portion is on Willow Park Baptist Church, or from here to here, and from here to here is on the city of Willow Park property. So one of the things I have for me, these are the executed right-of-way dedication documents for the church's part of Crown Point, that 70-foot right-of-way. And I would ask this council to codify this dedication. Now, I'm not for sure how you dedicate it to yourself, okay? But Mr. Cheshire, I'm sure you can handle that, okay?
That's where everybody turns their head to the door.
Okay? Because when I turn in this plat, I need a volume and page on that dedication to show.
Yep.
So I think that would make sense, what I'm asking for there. Then, and so what I have here, these are the exhibits, the survey exhibits for the city portion of the dedication. I don't know what front end needs to go on those, but I'm sure this is not a new thing that's never been done before. So I would ask you to take that into consideration. I think the council action has already occurred in 2015. It's just a matter of documenting it. And so I, as a surveyor, know what to show you on my plat for that right-of-way dedication. The third thing is the land swap that he alluded to. There's 0.75 acres here owned by the church, or owned by the city, that it is proposed to trade for 0.75 acres on the east side. I know this has been discussed at quite some lengths, but again, when I come in with a plat, I would really like to have that land exchange have occurred so I can reflect it accurately on my plat. So I know this is just a discussion. You're not going to take any action. My request would be that the council would place this on your next available agenda for official action. Okay? And so what I have here, these are the meets and bounds descriptions for the 2 land swaps. Okay? And the title company, these need to go into the title company. We need to have a closing. I don't know the details of all how that would work, but certainly deeds needs to be drawn up, and as a council, y'all would act on this and whatnot. So those are our asks tonight, that we move on with this process so that we come in with our final plat. The housekeeping items are taken care of, so we can actually do a plat. Do you have any question about those items?
I'd like to make one comment. I talked with Betty about this land swap before. The general rule is if we're going to sell land, we have to put it out for bids and get fair market value for it. There's exceptions to that. And one of them is if the land is it's excess right of way, for example, maybe that's what we can fit this in, or land that is shaped in such a way that it can't be used independently. Those are the 2 exceptions that might fit. But I want to look at it and make sure. Otherwise, what we could do and might have to do is literally put it out for bid exchange. You actually say, I've done this before, is you basically say, we want to swap this for that. And then you put it out. It seems kind of silly, but that's the formality you have to follow when you're selling real property. So, well, I'll get with Betty and see if we can figure out a way.
And I'm familiar with that process you're describing, so that's why I'm asking you to initiate that process.
Yes.
I don't want to have a plat delayed because we don't have that.
I want to be clear about something. I'm just making sure I heard you right. So Crown Point, where it currently ends by the assisted living center, that extension has to take place presumably up to Crown Road.
Correct.
Did I hear you correctly that y'all were prepared to put that street in?
Certainly open to negotiation.
Just
And with other interested parties, property owners in the area. So,
I'm familiar with that little piece of proposed road and that approved road. And that the council approved. I don't know if you remember why I would know this piece of road or not, but and the council had approved for the church to build that, and then that's when the wastewater treatment.
Yeah.
a lot of history.
And a lot of history.
Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of history.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to kind of get
So
it
we
all
can
out on
clean
the
it up.
table. If there's anything we need to talk about with the landowners or the church, anything, let's do it. Because my marching orders are to move forward with this.
expedite this.
Do we have to have the old treatment center demolished so they can go?
That's
In my opinion, no, Mr. Rosenbaum. We've set up the geometry of this road so that it misses everything.
Okay.
we can still have normal. We can still have normal operations for the next few years until we come up with the long-term solution.
And with the construction of this roadway, there are water and sewer improvements that bring service to your property.
Yes.
Well, that's part of the deal.
Yep. Okay.
On the, what's that dirt road on the left there, what is that called here?
Crown
So
Lane.
you're,
This is Crown Lane.
Crown Lane, thank you. So you're starting on development of that too, to rebuild that?
That's all.
By the way, very quick, I didn't speak to that. What the church is going to do is be constructing a concrete street from the intersection of J.D. Tolles down to I-20 along with a sweeping entry under the I-20 service road.
You know how it
And Brian, that TxDOT permit is currently in review. Okay?
That's important for me to know.
Yeah, and I will certainly provide you with a.
That's important for other parties. They need to know.
Okay? And from this point on, Parker County has indicated that they were willing to go in and resurface that road. Not a concrete road. You know, it would be an asphalt roadway, but certainly much, much better than what you see out there today.
The dirt rock road.
It's a driveway.
That's what I
It's
thought
a
it
nice,
was.
it's a nice country road. It's a nice country road.
There are isolated sections of asphalt on it.
Real isolated.
But
The loneliness.
And that was something that Parker County Commissioner for this precinct
Dugan.
and the county judge would participate in. You can see in the master plan, and this is something that we would plat, is we would take out this hairpin turn, okay? And give 30-mile-per-hour design speed radii on this road. So the church is prepared to dedicate that. Whether or not in this current effort, I don't know that we would go in and clear that out and make a new road bed, but it would give the.
You jumpstart the project.
Yeah. One of the things I would point out to you is this is going to tremendously enhance the access to the hospital from the north, from everybody up around the lake and all that. Because currently you would have to come down Micah's Road, go down to Ranch House, U-turn, come back. We estimate this will take something 10 to 15 minutes off the response time, or trip to the emergency room from someone, say, living up around the lake. So I think that's a big plus. It'll also enhance just the day-to-day traffic through here. It will take a lot of the load off the Marcus Road light. People coming eastbound, going home traffic that exit back up here will come down and be able to take Crown Point Boulevard through and proceed on up to the golf course and once more. Okay, well, I anticipate to see y'all on a regular basis.
Thank y'all.
We like Whataburger.
I won't be in 2012, start, so if you're going there.
Okay.
Just to follow up, our next meeting is next week, but I don't think we're going to be prepared to have anything for you guys by next Tuesday. So we're looking at an October meeting at the earliest to consider this.
Okay.
If we can, Chuck, if we get it next week, we will, but
Your earliest available.
Special meeting for the tax rate. Yeah. All right, move on to item number 6. Discussion action to take and consider action on a request for proposal for audit services for fiscal year 2017-2018. Brian?
yes. Let me bring this up. Where'd you go? Here we go. We are required, as y'all know, to do an audit every year. And this is the same RFP that we put out a year ago. We actually got some pretty good responses last year. We've already had, have we had 3 firms or 2 firms ask about when we're going to put the...
We've had 2 ask about it.
Yeah. So we've got people wanting to come in and actually audit our books for the first time. It's amazing the pool that you get of people when you're not on QuickBooks. So, just throwing that out there. So I would recommend that we approve this. The deadline for this will be September the 28th. That'll give staff plenty of time to review the proposals and make a recommendation to this body in October.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So let's, just to be clear, what are we approving?
The RFP for the audit firm.
So we're approving the RFP to go out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion for the city to initiate the RFP process for auditing services.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.
Now, just a quick question. So the audit, that's required, once it's done, is it required to go to state?
No. Although a number of state agencies will ask for it, if you go for funding from them, they're going to want a copy of your financial statement, your
So it's
financial audit.
basically just internal?
Yes.
For us?
Yeah. It's just a typical financial tool that you guys use to. It's an accounting of how the monies were spent for that fiscal period.
Okay.
Moving on to item number 7, discussion and take action to consider and take action on donating surplus fire department equipment to a volunteer fire department in need. Chief Lenore.
Honorable Council, City Manager, and citizens. We've got some surplus extrication equipment at Station 2. It's not currently being used. It was purchased roughly around 1994. I did find the manuals for it, which dated it at that time frame. So I can't actually give you exact purchase dates. It was purchased during the volunteer and contract era of the fire department. The equipment is a Hamatro brand extrication power plant with a hose reel, a cutter, a spreader, and a ram. And I believe I added the pictures.
Yes, sir.
Of it. Okay, good. I think I slept since then. We haven't used it for 3 years. It's not in service. We have no service records of it. So I was approached by one of our salesperson that was mentioning to me about this volunteer fire department that is using a crowbar and a Halligan bar to cut people out of cars. They have to wait 45 minutes for Brady Fire Department to come help them. if they show up. So I said, I've got a set of equipment, let me check and see if it's okay to donate it. And I would like to donate it to this volunteer fire department. And so what I'm recommending is approving the donation to Rochelle Volunteer Fire Department, just outside of Brady.
We don't anticipate ever having any use for this.
No, sir.
We have new stuff. that
We've got new
serves
stuff.
servers and whatnot, and
Yes.
so, yeah.
And this hasn't been used in 3 years?
This hasn't been used in 3 years. This is on our old pumper that we traded in.
Okay.
So we have it sitting at Station 2 right now.
Do we have any questions?
And you have extrication equipment on all your engines?
Yes, sir.
There's a donation agreement in your packet, and we just approved that.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what the motion should be. I move that we donate the unused, outdated surplus equipment from 1994, this Amato brand extrication power plant, hose, reels, cutter, spreader, ram system to the Brady Volunteer.
Rochelle.
Excuse me, Rochelle Volunteer Fire Department.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, motion passes.
I do have one stipulation. I want to go with him when he delivers it because there's a really good barbecue place on the way.
Can we tax you?
Absolutely. You can come along.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That would be nice.
That's my old stomping grounds down there. There's some.
Some good stuff down there.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at item number 8, to consider and take action on approval of resolution 2018-8, approving the purchase of new radio equipment for fire and police departments. Chief Lenore?
All right. I'm going to ask Chief West to help me with some of this also on explaining some information. Our current radio system, we have Motorola XTS 1500s. We've got, these radios are one band only, so we're on VHF. So we can't talk to our mutual aid companies. We can't talk to Fort Worth with them, just like this one.
Don't push the orange button.
Yeah, that will send an alarm. I'm quite familiar with these. I've used these quite
Yes.
previously.
This orange button?
Exactly what you said.
Really? I mean, she had her PD voice and on there, they don't touch the orange.
Well, if he's just telling you, you're gonna notify police dispatch if you do that.
I know.
And then you hand it to me.
So on these radios were used on our very large grass fire that we had on our brush trucks. Unfortunately, we couldn't communicate with our mutual aid companies due to these radios still being on our units. The new ones that we had purchased, which we're requesting, were the APX 8000 and the 8500s. These are multi-band, and so we can contact anybody that we have mutual aid agreements with. We purchased these radios with the new pumper, and they work great. So right now we've got a few radios to have to replace. These will be the mobile radios that go in the apparatus, and then handheld portable radios so we can communicate away from. The police department have quite a few radios that are loaners
Yes.
from Parker County Sheriff's Office. And so we would like to get them their own radio system, their own handheld radios and mobile radios. The pricing on these are HGAC competitive pricing. The I hope I added this. Government Capital Corporation in the packet? Yes, maybe?
Yes,
No?
you're
Yeah.
the gov captain.
Awesome. The grand total price that I have priced out from them, $373,071.60. They were gracious enough to apply that on 4 different payment plans. A 3-payment plan at 3.97%. The payment would be $135.82 and 56 cents. 5-month, same percentage as $84,182 and 13 cents. 7-month payment at a 4.227% is going to be $62,679 and 77 cents. Or a 10-year payment is going to be a 4.38 at $46,870 and 58 cents. And also keep in mind this is going to be a 1-year after payment that we'll have to make, so it won't be.
There's a 1-year deferment with GovCap, so the payment won't come actually, it won't actually come in on the budget that we just had the public hearing on. It'll be on the next budget.
Yes.
So, Chief, can you, just for public record, tell me the price per unit?
The price per unit, bear with me with just 1 second.
Looks like 47.
The Apex 8000s, the portable handhelds, they're going to be, our price is $4,487.25 a piece. Now we've got a hand mic housing for us that's yellow. That's going to be $18.75 our price. Normal price is $25. Normal price on the handheld is $59.83. We've got the for 9 radios for the fire department, the total is $122,025. We had to throw the 25 cents in. That includes all of our communication software that's required for the radio system to talk to the multibands. That also included the mobile units, which are the APX 8500s. Those on our price are $3,577.50. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure people understood that these are not cheap.
These are not cheap radios.
And there's a reason, because they're ruggedized and
Yes.
they're for, flammable environments. They're to be used in
They won't
rough
ignite
areas.
in gas, and they're safe for us. The rep actually came, and I won't do that to her radio, but he spiked the handheld radio, picked it up and keyed it up, and everything was fine, and there was no damage to it. He had one of our members aggressively stab the faceplate of it, and it did no damage.
You can drive over them with a dump truck. It doesn't.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're very rugged, very reliable. So far, the ones that we purchased for the pumper have been great. So I'm very pleased with them. And
there's no issues with integrating with Parker County.
no, sir. No, we're good on that.
And this is being purchased in HVAC.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you say this is a 1-year deferred?
Yes, yes, sir.
But you had a price breakdown?
Yes, sir. Four breakdown.
So, you care if I answer that one for you?
Yes, sir. Go
So
ahead.
you have 4 options when you finance with the GovCap. You can go a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, or a 10-year.
It's months.
Yeah. What, sir?
It's months.
No, it's yours.
His payment plan is in months. 5 payments, 7 payments.
Those are 5 annual payments, I believe.
Yeah, they do them as annual.
Okay.
Yeah, they're annual terms.
Yes. Yeah. So you do 5 annual terms, and what the way they structure it is the first payment wouldn't be due until October or November of 2019.
2019, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, our next fiscal.
Yeah, our next fiscal year, which is why it doesn't show up on this budget. If you decide to go with this and you want to go this route, my recommendation would be a 5-year payment plan. The interest rate's the same as a 3, so you kind of get the benefit of additional time. But quite frankly, I think we might be able to we might be able to get these things significantly paid off before the first payments actually due.
Do I have a motion on the item?
So I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the new radio equipment for the fire and police departments.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. And item number 9, I have to consider and take action on approving 2 access lease agreements with Lenex's Internet to place antennas on city water towers located at Fox Hunt Trail and Circle Court. Mr. Bryan.
We were approached by representatives of Lennox to put an internet repeater, I guess it's the best way to put it, on our water towers. Typically, they lease space for that. They presented a contract with Council Chesler, not Councilman Chesler, but Attorney Chesler. And he and legal counsel with Lennox have been going back and forth Monday and today. Pat, can you brief us on where y'all are with this?
Sure. Basically, I just want to make sure we had some protections in here. Primarily, we're basically getting no rent except for getting free internet service from, I guess, is it Linksys? That's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a 3-year term. If we don't terminate it 30 days prior to the end of the 3-year term, we're automatically renewed for another 3 years. So we need to be aware of that. Primarily on these leases, right now, I don't think we haven't leased anybody else, but we've been finding that these are pretty hot commodities for people to place internet antennas on. So I made it towards a non-exclusive. That way, they had it originally exclusive where we couldn't lease it to any competitor of theirs, but we need to make sure that is open for us. So I changed it to a non-exclusive lease so we can lease it to anybody else. And then if they have to pay any taxes that are, if there are any taxes assessed, leases, there usually is, but it depends on your appraisal district, whether they pick it up or not. Primarily, that's just put an indemnification, make sure if they do any kind of damage or anything like that, it's their responsibility, they got to pay us. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
So Brian,
Yes, sir.
did I get that right? So we're going to get free Wi-Fi out of the deal?
Yes, sir.
At those locations?
No, here at City Hall, Public Safety Building, municipal buildings.
Within the public area around it? Or?
We would get it in the building. What do you mean the public area?
Well, I mean, is it going to be like a hotspot for everybody?
We
Or-
could, well, yes. I mean, you're talking about the Public Safety Building, or we're talking about 2 locations primarily. Do you have a third one in mind? Or?
No. Here it
He's
is.
just looking for a common area type of thing.
I think
for
you're
people
asking
to-
if they can use it if they're at the park. So
Yes.
walk
Yeah.
over-
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, we can see if they can accommodate us on that as well. I don't think it's going to be a problem to have a hotspot out there at the park.
Well, it says in there you can't use it for the public, is what it says.
Okay.
We can, okay, that's what it said? Okay.
Yeah.
When we had the discussions on the parameters of that, the folks from Linksys said we can provide you with internet. We might be able to get a hotspot put in. I think I can get that.
Is this going to be quicker than faster internet than what we currently have? What do we have right now?
I think I have 1 stage above a smoke signal.
Well, that's, I do know that, but what carrier?
This is pretty fast service, 15 megabyte down, 50 megabyte up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked our IT guy, he said it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
TPX.
But this is over the air, direct line of sight, so
Yes.
somebody like AT&T, they can't provide the city with like a fiber optic link from up to the building here at this time?
I don't believe they can. If they did, we would have already hooked up into fiber.
See, I was going to ask about that. At the end of
And if you opt to do rent, which
Oh, no, I'm not looking at that. I was just-
Okay.
I've had some inquiries on getting higher speed internet type stuff.
This is, I mean,
So-
50 up and 50 down. The up is really important, but
Yeah.
that's pretty good for out here.
Okay.
So, all right, so the direct line of sight, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you go ahead.
So during bad weather, though, like when you have rain and everything, my experience with some of this wireless stuff is you have no service.
It could.
That's when we probably need it the most.
Yes, it could present a challenge, yes.
Yeah, wouldn't it be better, would it be more advantageous to have what I just consider hardline for our public?
For hardwire?
Yeah.
I think when we get the public safety building up and running, that will do. In fact, we just talked about that last week. Is that going to be hardwired for you guys? The new PSB?
Yes, sir. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah.
husband's office is at
Yeah.
home, and we don't do wireless.
Yeah, because
He
of
has
that
to
reason,
get
yeah.
to work. And
What we have here is not adequate enough. It's the objective was to increase our speed here at City Hall. We're also going to be looking at, in the next coming year, doing a metering system where everything's going to be funneled here as well. So all the meters will be automatically read, come to City Hall. And so I don't think what we're carrying right now as far as the internet goes will do what we need it to do.
no, and with this,
But if council wishes, we can probably put a monetary number in lieu of
well, this is the reason I'm asking is that I've had residents ask me if, and I've seen, there are other towns that have gone to, they've been able to get AT&T to do full fiber optics, and I've received a question today, actually, on what a city can do. Would this hinder our negotiating or whatever finagling we gotta do with AT&T to come out here?
You don't really negotiate with AT&T.
Well, I don't.
I mean,
How do these other towns get fiber optics? Let me ask that.
Mainly it's their location.
AT&T will put the fiber in when they decide they're going to put the fiber in.
Okay, so a city can't really have any
No,
at all? Okay.
no. They have far more financial and political resources than we could ever hope and dream of
Because
having.
apparently the net is having.
They have some fiber out there. If you're willing to pay AT&T to run fiber, which is fairly expensive, I'm sure they'll listen to you. But as far as as far as Willow Park proper goes, you're going to have a challenge getting AT&T to come out here and do that.
Yeah.
That's not to say that if y'all direct me to do that, we can. I can get the cost and find out.
I would kind of like to see,
Okay.
just to put something together, because I've had questions about it. Everybody has questions about it.
There's a gentleman in Austin named Randy Teakle, and I will give him a call in the morning.
Well, tell Mr. Teagle I said hello.
He'll be comforted in your welcoming.
Thank you.
All right.
But as far as
You could help spur that along, and push it, that'd be great.
Okay.
Depends on the cost, so.
Because that would put us at an advantage over, it would put us at a great advantage, I believe.
over other cities, with the leadership of this council, we have a tremendous advantage over other cities.
Absolutely, we do. Exactly. We want some fiber optics.
Any other questions?
Would y'all like for us to include a provision or a clause that would offset, in lieu of free internet at City Hall or the existing public safety building, would y'all like for us to offset some sort of a financial agreement with Lennox?
I'd like to know more about the benefit. I mean, you get free service here. What do we pay for service now? And compared to what we could charge for rent.
Where'd the lady who pays us bills go?
She's already I can go look that up, but it would take a few minutes.
I think we budget roughly 5,000. It's probably in there somewhere. But if you take PSB, if you take what PD pays, and the way she does it, she breaks it out into separate parts. So you're going to have to go to 4 different departments to add it up. And I think she includes Maverick in that line item as well. But I can get a hard. I can get a hard number for you.
I'm just curious, I mean, would it be more beneficial for us to charge them rent, or would it be more beneficial?
You'll probably get $5,000 to $7,000 a year in rental fees. That's typically what you're going to see from cities for these things. It's not a moneymaker. I mean, it's I guess it's free income, but
It won't pay for fire department radios?
it will not pay for.
They'll pay for one.
So is Links intending to sell additional internet
Yes.
service to the?
Yes, their intent is to provide internet service to Willow Park. And the way they found this was they actually saw the water towers and they said, well, who owns these water towers? And they said, well, City of Willow Park does. And so I get a random phone call on Thursday of, hey, we'd like to lease space. This is a pretty no-brainer thing in West Texas. Anybody wants to bring in internet out there, they'll do it. But it's not a revenue generator. It's free money, but it's not a revenue generator.
I'm just wondering if it would hinder us, if they're.
The only hindrance would be that we'd probably negotiate some sort of lease fee. AT&T's not going to not come here because we're
I just meant, fiber optics. Some of those people, they understand that it's an independent entity from us, but if there's anything that we can do, make a
Sure.
phone call. And
I can call Mr. Tickle in the morning.
As soon as you tell him Amy Thompson hi, he'll say, I don't know who she is.
The only hindrance is that on these towers, we can't lease it to a third party who will interfere with their signal. So as long as AT&T, whoever else comes in, has to deliver a signal. And it can be problematic sometimes. So it just, that doesn't mean AT&T has to be on the water tower either.
They're going to run fiber.
Fiber, yeah. So it's not a conflict there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're gonna run fiber from the towers to here?
No. AT&T will run fiber. They're not going to lease space on our water tower.
But your connection, if we went ahead with that internet service, connection would be Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I have a motion on the item? We actually have two items. Can we do them both at the same time?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got two contracts here for two different water towers.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the Links' internet access lease agreements as read.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. All right. Do we have any staff announcements, council announcements?
Before the next council meeting, actually maybe right after the next council meeting, TML is having their annual convention in Fort Worth. I believe we've registered every council member to attend. I've encouraged some staff members to attend, being that it's 20 miles away. It's a good educational convention. If you've never been to the Expo Center there, I would encourage you to go. Anything and everything that you need to run a city is there. I'm going to stress again to Ms. Fennell, do not give your business card to the vendor. And do not give my business card to the vendor. This is October.
Second week of October.
That's what we signed up.
Yeah, that's what we signed up for. Yes. Let's see here. We meet next week to approve and adopt, approve the tax rate, adopt the budget. The mayor will be here for that. He's already told me he's had enough of the hurricane. And so that's with that. We should be getting sales tax. I was hopeful we would get sales tax in today, so be looking for some sales tax numbers to come in by the end of this week. This is not going to be a quarterly, but I'm expecting a pretty good sales tax number.
And we've got everything squared away with the comptroller now?
As far as,
Sales tax.
yes. As far as that one particular issue, yes, and I think you may see that actually on this next reimbursement.
Okay.
One thing I did want to mention, I did mention this in my opening statement on the budget, just to clarify, because there's a misnomer out there that cities actually get direct aid from the state of Texas. We receive 0 direct aid from the state of Texas. And so everything that we do is generated from sales tax and property tax for your general fund. So when we start ramping up and kind of bragging on sales tax numbers, that's a good sign of a growing economy and a growing community. As much as I like to take credit for it, it's because people shop local. They shop at their local Brookshire's or the Ace Hardware, or they go to Drake's or someplace like that. And for every $1 that you spend at a local restaurant, $68 gets sent back to the local community. And so we are championing to shop local, buy local, and please, 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 because that man back there needs a fire truck, and that's how we're going to pay for it.
Yes. Definitely do.
Any council member announcements? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
A second? All right. Adjourn meeting at 8:10 p.m.
You knew I was going to do it at some point. Is the TV okay?
Who what?
Hey, the TV's going away, by the way. It's